Teamwork is dependent on trusting the other folks to come through with their part without watching them all the time, but trusting that they're going to come through with their parts. If you want to hire great people and have them stay working for you, you have to let them make a lot of decisions, and you have to be run by ideas, not hierarchy. The best ideas have to win. Otherwise, good people don't stay.
I always believe as a manager, my job is not to worry about the system, but to work in the system. You know, even in the present economy, you have a terrible sector like the aviation sector, where you have an airline like Indigo that can't do anything wrong. You have a pharma sector that has a few hiccups, but look at Sun Pharma. Last 3 years, the IT sector went up and down a bit, but TCS did so well. So I think in every sector, you find that there are one or two companies that beat the trend and do very well, and therefore it's less about what's outside of you. It's more about how strong and astute your own strategy is. So I really don't worry that much about the economy. I worry about my motorcycles.
IQ matters more than EQ. So you believe, okay, and perhaps to some extent it is true. And so you are 70% IQ and 30% EQ. By the time you finish your career, you're 90% EQ and 10% IQ.
An important responsibility of a leader is to create people who are in some sense better than him or her. And the best way of imparting lessons, imparting values, imparting ideas is leadership through example.
Focus on is ruthlessly remove any obstacles that allow us to innovate, every individual in an organization to innovate, and then focus all of that innovation on things that Microsoft can uniquely do. You know, we are the company that enables people to do more, you know, to play, you know, get more, have more fun, to create more. So in some sense, we refer to ourselves as the do more company.
But in order to be competent at something, you've got to be a lifelong student, because you've got to constantly refine your knowledge of that subject so that you remain ahead and abreast of everything that goes on in that field first.
As a leader of people, you have to be a great listener, you have to be a great motivator, you have to be very good at praising and looking for the best in people. You know, people are no different from flowers. If you water flowers, they flourish. If you praise people, they flourish, and that's a critical attribute of a leader.
There's a lot of talk about do companies require people to be entrepreneurial or not? And sometimes there is a big misconception that you can be entrepreneurial only if you go in startups, or you can be entrepreneurial. But for example, the way at Vodafone we look at the entrepreneurialism of an individual is much more whether she or he goes beyond the established, you know, way of doing things to improve something, to take a risk, to take a person on board or new skills on board, to interpret the role as, well, what can I do more? I always say that we hire people for the second promotion, not for the first one. You always need to hire a person who is able to do the next job, but also to do the second next. Now, the more a person is entrepreneurial, the more the person starts thinking not as the boss is thinking, but as the boss's boss is thinking. And when you see these guys or these women who are really entrepreneurial, and they can be in finance, they can be in HR, they can be in marketing, they can be in production, you know that you have hit a leader, and that person will end up very soon in a leadership position.